as you have read the title, we are going to talk about a very famous emperor from the early 17th century Europe. So he is called as Napoleon Bonaparte. I guess I'm pronouncing his name right. So let's talk about it. And as you have read the title again, you know what we're gonna talk about. But before that, let's talk about a little basics of him. So he was born in August 15, 1769 in Corsica, Europe. So this guy is amazing. We all know that he was such a good emperor, he was such a good strategist, he was just smart as hell. But there's a rumor about him which is quite very funny, I think, that he's a short king. Yeah, he's like 2'9", I guess. No, not 2'9", come on, he's like 5'2", 5 feet 2 inches. That is what everyone believes. Even I believed that once. Somebody in my college or in my school, I think, said that, and I actually believed it. And there are some crazy more rumors I have heard about him, which is just crazy. I don't know how did they. For example, Napoleon was 5'2", that's why he was so aggressive. I mean, this reminds me of this thing I've seen in cartoons, like the smallest and the cutest characters are the most aggressive ones. Like, they are just so aggressive. This is what they're trying to make Napoleon look like. But was he actually that short? No, he wasn't this short. Well, let us debunk this. First of all, where did this myth rise from? Well, before that, there's a very famous thing I just learned, which is that this rumor has, this myth basically survived like longer than 200 years. Like, after he died, and the next generation believed he was short. What? I mean, okay, they just believed he was short. And why is that? Well, there are a few reasons why he was called as a short king. So let's debunk them. First rumor. First, what was his actual height? Basically, the measurements just screwed up because the death record said he is 5'2", but in French measurements, not in the global standard we have, like, you know, it was in the French measurement system. But the actual conversion makes him 5'6" to 5'7". The actual height, if we convert the French measurement into the global one, he was 5'10". And why he looked shorter then? Like, I think there are quite a lot of pictures where he looked shorter alongside his army. Well, a lot of people don't know this, but his guards, the imperial guards, were like tall as hell. They were fucking giants. They were above 6 feet. That was the minimum requirement of that time. He was actually 5'6" to 5'7", which is roughly like 168 to 178 centimeters, which was this height was slightly above the average Frenchman standards, like the average Frenchman height of that time. So why he looked shorter? Well, he looked shorter because his imperial bodyguards had a minimum height requirement to be 6 feet, and that's a lot. They were like giants. It's like Hitler standing alongside NBA players of that time. For some reason, they were like so giants, all of them. By the way, he had a really good bonding with the soldiers. His soldiers had given him a very good name, Le Petit Caporal, if I'm pronouncing that right, which is not an insult. Basically, these words translate to the little corporal, which is not an insult, but it was used as a term of endearment. And the reason behind it is because he was young and he rose to powers like in his 20s, which is actually quite crazy. The name which were given by the soldiers just shows him that he was like one of them. Like, he never really tried to be that ignorant emperor or king. He was like with them. He always like was with them. He was always playing alongside them, which is a good quality of which an emperor should have. But sadly, the British propaganda made him look so sick. England has always been their biggest enemy. Like, during that time, they just could not stand Napoleon because he was so strong. He had a lot of brain cells, and they have never ever, like, you know, defeated him in any war. So just to, you know, have some fun maybe, or just to satisfy themselves, so they owned him in memes, you know. And if they would do, like, I don't know, just they did, and literally a very bullshit thing just to gain some cheap dopamine here. But despite all that myth, he was still like such an influential guy. Like, he had a lot of aura that time, before even he was aura farming before even the word existed. well, we are talking about the cartoons which were made by British. Let us also talk about this very, I don't know, kind of funny thing which happened during when they were going to the Austrian forces. Take a look at this awesome image. Here, this is an awesome painting of Napoleon looking like a genius and aura farming in this painting, which is basically a painting of him crossing the Alps while they were passing the Great St. Bernard Pass to surprise the Austrian forces. But Napoleon, being Napoleon, he forbade his artist to make him look like the reality and make him look like a genius instead. So he told David that it didn't matter what he looked like, all he wanted to look like was a genius who was aura farming. And guess what? His artist did a great job. Like, look at the photo, man. He just looks like so freaking good. I mean, whoever looks at it at the first time, they would just like, just get impressed by him. He just looks like so good in here. How, look at his robe flying and how like the pose and all. But let's give you a reality check. First of all, the pass they were passing was actually very icy, very cold and very shivering. The picture is completely photoshopped. Not photoshopped, but photo painting shopped. I don't know what the fuck am I saying. He was shivering and he wasn't sitting on a horse, man. He was sitting on a mule, shivering, and just it was so cold, and that's how he was crossing the Alps. But honestly, look at the picture. He still looks kind of cool, bro. Why the hell was he hiding this? But maybe that was some propaganda. Obviously, people that time, after looking at that picture, definitely must have gotten impressed. He looks quite tall here because he was tall. That was just a myth. We just debunked that. But who cares about the height when he has done so many aura farming stuff? It might be quite annoying for me to keep saying the word aura farming, but I cannot have any better word to describe this kind of a guy. Honestly, he just reminds me of Julius Caesar for some reason. I don't know. They were both emperors with both having a very strategic mind, big manipulators, very narcissist. I should say that, I guess. Don't hate me, guys. Take it lightly. We are just having fun here, Of such live historian examples here who just were fantastic at what they were doing. They just had a lot of mind. I just know they knew, man. They could understand psychology more than the people on YouTube know. Like, for real. Am I idolizing him? Not. I'm just impressed, but despite this much, no one could actually beat him in a war. I mean, he did lost once, but overall, he was just a very strong personality. And you can also look at him as a motivational for short people. I mean, doesn't matter what your height is. When you're already doing so much better, you're such a good person, you have a lot of mind. Your height just disappears and, your mind takes over everyone's mind. Kinda lame, I know. Kya bol rahi hu? Well, thank you for watching this video. That's it for today. I just made it because I was bored. So yeah, see you guys later. If I ever come here again, I'll upload a video. And yeah, take care. Bye. Peace.